Hopefully the match's working now. Oh man, I'm fucking, I haven't got no clue. Hopefully. I can't even check it, my phone's not even here. It's a fucking nightmare. That's wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. Right, so I'll get back into this again. I was talking for 10-15 minutes, talking a lot of shite to be truth. Oh. Well, hello again and welcome in. As you can see here, the topic's already up. I'm raring to go here. Welcome back in to this Thursday's entertainment news. This disrupted entertainment news. And as you can see there, DC, upheaval, Warner Brothers. Will there be any? I'm glad. I'm not going to lie. I'm glad this show has been disrupted. I was talking nonsense for large chunks of that, and it might not have looked like I was talking nonsense, but I certainly was. So now I've got a chance to rectify that by coming in and maybe speaking a bit more coherence, if you like. As I did say, and I'm going to go over it again, one topic has been removed now. I'm not speaking about Bob Iger and his trials and tribulations over at Disney, the sleepless nights the man has endured because of the flippity-floppity flops that are afflicting Disney just now. I'm not speaking about that just because I don't care. They are fucking loaded and they've made their own bed by putting out utter shite on a consistent basis. So I'm here to discuss Warner Brothers, a potential merger between Warner Brothers and Universal that has been rumoured. The rumour mill has been started by employees within the Warner Brothers organisation. Now, I don't think we've got direct quotes from the employees within the Warner Brothers organisation, but as you can see here, a new report suggests some of their employees not only expect the studio to be bought relatively soon, but indeed by a rival studio. They could be taken over in a sense, and as you can see, they've used Margot Robbie, the new poster girl of Warner Brothers, the top grossing movie of 2023. Who'd have seen that coming? Barbie. A Warner Brothers movie. I'd be fucking shocked if it isn't, if they're putting that in the actual article. I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers produced Barbie. And they're using her as a sort of visual cue to show you the shock that is being felt by these employees within Warner Brothers. Now, as I said before, although I couldn't be heard, this isn't really a surprise to me. Warner Brothers were taken over by, I believe, Discovery. There was a merger a couple of years ago between them and Discovery. A shake-up. There was a new owner. He did shake things up. Some fought for the better. But there was rumours swirling around this guy and his reasons for taking over, merging the companies. Rumours of potential, and again I says this before and I'm not sure this is the correct terminology, but venture capitalism, is that what it is? I don't know. Asset stripping. Coming in, buying a company and selling it for what it's worth. In a sense, there was rumours of this guy. I don't even have his name. I'm going to try and bring his name up just now. The owner of Warner Brothers, as we speak. Warner Brothers Discovery. Let's see if I can find the guy's name, shall we? Warner Bros. Discovery. Owner. What's the guy's name? David Zaslav. Rumours of David coming in and deliberately selling the company off, using it for all it's worth and trying to, make a profit at the end of it. Absolutely fine. All's fair in capitalism and all that jazz. So that it was never really a surprise to me the talk of potential. This wasn't a surprise to me. I'll restructure it. This wasn't really a surprise to me when I read these rumours of a potential Warner Brothers takeover. As you can see here, DCU faces even more upheaval after bombshell Warner Brothers sale report. But as I said before, not a surprise to me because this guy has always seemed to be eyeing the potential sale of Warner Brothers, a merger with another studio. But as I said before, 26 billion worth Warner Brothers as of 2 days ago. Universal, 1.17 billion as of today. That's a market cap though. What is their net worth? It's got to be more than $1 billion. It just has to be. Let's find out, shall we? Net worth. No, they're saying 1.17 billion. I just don't understand how a company like Universal have the financial power, might, to buy out Warner Brothers, who, as you can see here, are definitely valued. The valuation has been going down. No surprise the way they've been handling certain franchises and controversial subjects. And I'll get into that just now. Some people will dance on the grave of Warner Brothers if they disappear into the annals of time, never to be seen again. For the handling of the Snyderverse, for the handling of Henry Cavill's tenure as Superman. I've been a firm advocate of their treatment. I've been a firm advocate of Henry Cavill. I've been firmly against their treatment, the mishandling of Superman over the last decade. They've pushed away the guy's prime years. Could have had at least a trilogy. He could have been regarded as the greatest Superman to ever live. Could have trumped, I'm blanking on his name, Christopher Reeve. That's the guy I'm thinking about. I speak about him all the time. I don't know how I forgot that name there briefly. So there's been a lot of mishandlings from Warner Brothers. Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, Ezra Miller. There's been a lot of issues with Warner Brothers, a lot of controversy, a lot of hypocrisy within the executive level of the company. So they've rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way, and as you can see, there's not been immune to flops this year either. I spoke about Bob Iger and Disney. The Flash flopped hard, it really did. Obviously Barbie has come out, it's maybe saved their bacon a little bit. But this isn't a surprise to me, and it would be a real shame, despite all of the ongoings. I'm doing fine. How are you, my man? Welcome in. Appreciate it. Despite all of the sort of controversy and the hypocrisy and some of the issues and the gripes I've got against Warner Brothers as a studio, certainly over the last few years, it would be a real shame to lose something of that, an entity of that standing in Hollywood and Western cinema, responsible for some of the greatest movies ever made, the Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter movies, worked with Kubrick on movies, Nolan on a whole host of movies. They have churned out consistently some of the greatest movies ever made in the history of cinema. And that would be a massive void if they were to disappear. Now you can say, well, they're not disappearing, they're merging with Universal if that happens, or Disney, or something else. I can't think Disney. Can't think of a reason why Disney would want to buy Warner Brothers. They've got enough just now. That would be ridiculous. You're getting into sort of fucking oligarchical levels of monopolisation at that point. But if you were to lose them to even Universal, there is no way Universal could possibly release as many movies in a calendar year as Universal and Warner Brothers as two separate entities could. They just can't. They have release slates. They can only put out a certain amount of movies in a calendar year. And if it's your movies, you're not going to want to cannibalise into your own profit. You're just not. Whereas if Warner Brothers were to release it and Universal were to release, they'll find little gaps in the actual release slates, in the months, in the year. But they'll still release their own fucking movies. So you're potentially losing up to half the kind of movies that you're getting just now in a calendar year. Now, as I said previously, and I did go over this when my mic was muted, fag packet, mathematics. It's probably not the case. You probably wouldn't lose half the movies, but if you have two huge studios merging like this, you're going to lose something. And it's the consumer, the film fans, who are going to be the butt of the jokes. They're the ones that are going to lose out. Because you're getting diversity in content just now. When monopolising happens, you lose diversity. You get the same drab shite coming out again and again and again. I want as much diversification of films, of filmmakers, of industry figures working for these separate studios as is humanly possible. I want A24 to stay as a single entity. I don't want it being merged. I want these studios to retain autonomy and their integrity, if you like, not to disappear. It would be a crime to lose Warner Brothers. In terms of the DCU, I have asked the question down there and I'm going to try and bring it up. Yet more upheaval for the DCU. That's the sort of headline of the show. And as I did say previously again, I think upheaval is inevitable in a situation like this. I don't see how two studios could merge together and not have upheaval. When you have executive figures at Warner Brothers green lighting a new DC universe, giving Peter Safran and James Gunn full autonomy over the universe, creative decisions, who to hire behind the camera, in front of the camera, multi-movie slates being laid out. That's all well and good, but if you merge with Universal and you've got a new owner with new executives who may have different thought processes behind creative decisions, behind release dates, you're always going to get upheaval if a studio merges with another. We've seen this on a minor level with Fox and Disney. The New Mutants, I think they were called, that movie. Other movies were in purgatory for a long time before they finally made their way onto a streaming service and underperformed on there at that. Now the DCU is a different thing to New Mutants, which was a fairly small scale movie. But still, you've got the chance of production purgatory, of things being held up until it's all ironed out in a new company. There's always a chance for upheaval in situations like this. I don't think it would be an existential threat for James Gunn and Peter Safran's vision for a new DC universe, though. I think in the end, the creative brilliance of James Gunn, his writing, his acting, not his acting, his directing, his vision for these characters, his passion for the comic stories and adapting them onto a big screen, the brilliance he will be constructing behind and in front of a camera is undoubted. And I think even if these companies were to merge together, and it's all hypothetical, it's rumours from employees suggesting it's around the corner. What is around the corner? Is it a week, a month, a year, a decade? But if it was to happen, I think even the executives at Universal couldn't be as blind to not see what this guy's bringing. This guy has got the chance to evolve his career and become a Kevin Feige in DC, the DC side of things for Warner Brothers or Universal if it was to take over. He's not going to let that go. It's a chance to take his career on a different path, become something more than a director. He's passionate about it. He wants it to succeed. And that would rub off in a new fucking merger company. There's no way DC and its universe and Warner Brothers or Universal, whatever the fuck it is, Disney, Apple, whoever it is that take over them, there's no way they would ever cancel a DC universe with James Gunn at the head. I can't see it being an existential threat. I think it would be upheaval though. No doubt about it. So in conclusion, look at that. In conclusion, like I'm writing an essay here, I'm not for Warner Brothers disappearing off the face of the earth. I think we've had enough historic film studios disappearing in the last few years. Also, it's only been one, it's Fox. Technically MGM merged with Amazon, they took over MGM. These are institutions that have been around for nearly a decade. Warner Brothers was founded, I think, in 1927 or something. So 3-4 years off of this being a century-old institution. It's part of the fabric of Hollywood, Warner Brothers. Universal's been around for a little longer. I think now on the turn of the century, 1900 something. Over a century old now. These are part of the fabric of Hollywood, these institutions. And to lose them would create a massive void, regardless of your opinions on where they've went recently in terms of release strategies, the way they've handled things. You simply cannot be losing studios like this. They're far too big, they're far too important in the lives of millions of people who watch these films. And then obviously the DC side of things is important as well. It's super important that DC gets rejuvenated, that we have a new era of stories in these comic settings, because we've had Marvel have its sort of halcyon days in the last decade or so. They're on the sort of decline just now, but they'll come back. It's super important for DC fans to have the moments that Marvel fans have had in the last 10 years. Epic ensemble moments, epic singular story moments. You could argue they've had that anyway with the Burton Batman movies, with the Reeves Superman movies, with the Snyder movies to an extent, with the Nolan movies. But there's so much potential in DC, and I firmly believe James Gunn is a guy to make it happen. And I sincerely hope a potential merger doesn't happen for that reason alone, but also because I don't want to lose Warner Brothers, because it'd be fucking dreadful. Such an iconic logo, such an iconic company. And God, man, I'll bring it up one more time because I've not really touched on it. Look at the movies that they have brought out over the last 100 whatever years, man. I don't know how long they actually are. I keep saying 1927. I think that's accurate. Just try to sort OBS out here. Maybe Space Jam's not the best example, but all that. I mean, that's an alright movie. Seven, The Shawshank Redemption, The Fugitive, Unforgiven, Malcolm X, The Lord of the Rings, Goodfellas, Driving Miss Daisy, Batman, Tim Burton, Beetlejuice, one of my favourite sort of horror comedy movies. The Full Metal Jacket, Lethal Weapon, an iconic action franchise. There's so many incredible movies. The Colour Purple, I think that's been reworked, isn't it? Pretty sure it is. There's something about that floating around. Was that the one where Oprah Winfrey actually get nominated? Did she win an Oscar? I don't know. So many incredible movies. The Goonies, Once Upon a Time in America, The Killing Fields, even these classic horror things. This is what I touched upon previously before I discovered I was muted. Are you going to get this kind of output from Universal? Potentially. Are you going to get it from Disney if they were to take over? Absolutely fucking not. Multi-demographic releases that they push. No balls on them to put out R-rated, visceral, violent horror movies. Edgy, adult-driven stories. It's all about getting as many people from a multitude of different age groups into the theatres to make as much money as possible. This is why we need to protect the integrity of companies like Warner Brothers, because they will push the envelope. They will do something different to a Disney. Now, you can say in recent years they've been churning out shite as well, and that's true. It's maybe an industry-wide problem. Remakes, quasi-sequels, no originality. But you have to keep individual studios like this to have a fucking hope in hell of seeing movies like Gremlins coming out again. I loved the Gremlins growing up. There's so many iconic movies. Blade Runner, The Shining, one of my all-time favourite horror movie. Look at what they've put out. Barry Lyndon again. I spoke about Stanley Kubrick. He worked almost sort of solely for Warner Brothers, it seems. So many, The Exorcist, so many amazing movies from this industry-defining studio. It would be a travesty to lose something like Warner Brothers from the world, from the map, if you like. I'm starting to give her shite here. Some would say I did it many minutes ago. So I'm going to move on to the next topic. But no, I think it will create upheaval for the DC. Very minuscule upheaval though, if it was to happen. And there's no guarantees it is going to happen. This is all very much rumours about employees hypothesising that we could have a takeover. If it happens, upheaval, minor, I think the DC universe will move on merrily, and it will be Gunn overseeing it. Moving on to the next topic though. Sticking to the theme of the DCU. This is it's the DCEU, isn't it? It's not the DCU in this case. But it's been confirmed by James Gunn, the aforementioned, that there will be no more returns for the likes of Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Jason Momoa after Aquaman 2 comes out, Ezra Miller, Gal Gadot. They are done. Their tenure as these DC characters, short for some, long for others, is over. No more. Will never happen again. We will not see them back in those characters, sort of capes, suits. And I'm going to get into that in a moment because that's important to emphasise. They'll not be back as the characters they have been playing, because Jason Momoa has been rumoured to be coming on board to play another character, a more morally ambiguous character that could fit him, I think, better than maybe even Aquaman. So exciting times in that regard. But yeah, I'll bring it up. No Zack Snyder characters are going to be returning. I'm going to endeavour to bring it up because this fucking mouse is doing my head in. And as you can see here, a new report has claimed that none of the stars who played the DCEU's Justice League will reprise their roles in the DCU. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. Ray Fisher was never coming back, let's be honest. He rocked the boat way too much. You could argue if he's been racially abused and bullied and whatnot behind the scenes, then he's right to rock the boat 100%. But needless to say, you can't be rubbing up people that much and expecting to stick around in future iterations of DC stories. It's just not going to happen. Gal Gadot has been openly pushing. There's a word I was looking for there, and it's a word that is synonymous with Oscar award season time, where they are, I don't know, sort of pushing. Pushing's the best I can come up with just now. Campaigning. She's actively campaigning to come back as Gal Gadot, finish her trilogy, but it's not going to happen. According to this report, and as you can see, where is it coming from? Variety. Now a new report from Variety which delves into the mucky water surrounding the production of the Aquaman sequel and the sorry legacy that the DCEU is leaving behind, has claimed that the trio of stars may be back as part of James Gunn's future plans, but will not be reprising their old Snyderverse roles. Well, it has been rumoured previously that Momoa has been in talks to play Lobos in the DCU. That's what I was going to speak about. Just perfect for Jason, sorry. Visually, it looks like him. He's got long curly hair. He's got his tattoos, buff as fuck. Get that energy, that rawness, that little bit of aggression, that character. And I feel like that is something that is perfectly tailor-made, suited for Jason Momoa, a guy who I really do like. I'm going to be speaking about him in a moment. And fucking love it. Really do. This story that's coming about, floating around about Jason Momoa. I hope it's true. It's alleged, I think for legal reasons, but I sincerely hope it's true. I'm going to speak about that in a moment, but it's not the moment just now. I'm well up for seeing him coming back as a different character in a DC movie. He's an infectious character, deeply charismatic, brilliant, cool guy, and I want to see more of him in DC movies moving forward, certainly under James Gunn, who can utilise that personality and bring it to the fore wonderfully. We've seen him do it with the likes of fucking David Dismalky and Polka Dot Man. We've seen him do it with a fucking Weasel, his own brother, playing the character. This guy can bring personality out of anything. So imagine what you can do with a personality like Jason Momoa moving forward, albeit not as Aquaman. I digress. This is the PC of Variety. They note none of the stars cast by Zack Snyder for 2016's Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice and 2017's Justice League, including Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller and Jason Momoa. No mention of Zachary Levi either, incidentally. Surely he's not coming back. Will reprise their roles in the new DC universe in character. Again, distinguishing point in that is in character. That's not writing off the potential for them to come back as another character in some form. But I'm glad this is happening. As I say, he's made his own plans. He has to start afresh. We can't keep going back to Snyder's old favourites, to a quite frankly antiquated era of DC storytelling. To just mine off the same fucking characters again and again. They're getting older now. They're past their sell-by date. Gal Gadot's nearly 40 odds. Jason Momoa's in his 40s. Henry Cavill's in his 40s. Ben Affleck's in his fucking 50s. They're too old now, man. There's no longevity in the characters. You're not going to get a decade of storytelling with these people. They will be 50 by the time that comes about. It's too fucking old to be playing these characters. I'm not saying it's old in real life terms, but in terms of playing a superhero, you can't have a 50-year-old playing Superman. You just can't. It's not going to work. He's a young, vivacious guy, character. You could maybe have a 50-year-old playing Batman and it's a grizzled, more veteran, embittered, wise version of Bruce Wayne, but I don't want to see it. I want to see, again, what they've been doing with Robert Pattinson, with, blank on his name, Matt Reeves. I want to see that, but with James Gunn in an interconnected universe. Young, fucking energetic actor who's got something to prove. Not saying Pattinson's got something to prove. The man's had his career. He's not exactly young. He's mid-30s, but he's not old. He's still got longevity. He's got a 10-year period to play that character if need be. And he looks younger. So I'm not averse to this. This is a good thing for me. James Gunn is starting afresh. It's new storytelling. He's rebooting the Superman story. He's rebooting the Batman story. It's only sensible to then reboot the Aquaman story if we need Aquaman. I don't think we do. I think he's that compelling a character, to be honest with you. Jason Momoa made him watchable to an extent. I don't think he's the be-all and end-all by any means. Flash, we need a new era of storytelling with new characters, with new actors, with new stories. So it's absolutely fine for me. And really on that point, I was going to delve kind of down the rabbit hole momentarily into who could play new versions of these characters in James Gunn and Peter Safran's DC universe, which I believe will not be affected by any potential merger between Warner Brothers and Universal, in case someone comes in at this point and wants to know my opinion on that. Not the fucking mood. I'm just a fucking... I've been seeing this kind of about recently, this term, a scud book from Glasgow. I like that term. I'm just a fucking scud book from Glasgow. It's irrelevant what I think, really, in the grand scheme of things. I'm going to lie back here. I'm going to rock the chair. This is not the full rocking potential of this chair, incidentally. It can go way, way back, almost horizontal. In fact, it can go back to horizontal. I'm just going to sit the leg up here and just read through this potential recasting of Wonder Woman for DCU. Right off the bat, I'm seeing Alexandria, what's her name? Alexandria Daddario, is that what her name is? And I'm liking that because she is one stunning looking girl. She really is. Incredible blue eyes. Quite young. Got the physicality. A big class as well. I think she's quite tall for a woman. All necessary components to play Diana Prince? Gal Gadot, but not Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman. She was Wonder Woman. Potentially no longer. Well, definitely no longer Wonder Woman. I'm fancying her as a potential Wonder Woman replacement. I really am. Alexandra Daddario. I'm sure she was in a Logan Lerman movie back in the day. I can't remember the name of it, but she played a kind of superhero figure, I want to say. And I recall her being quite physical, quite a big lass. So I'd be for that. Jamie Alexander, again, strikes me as being quite big. I recall her. She was in Thor. I think she was in Loki as well recently. Was she not? Was she in Loki recently? I think she was. Was that the one that kept respawning and kept slapping poor Loki about? Might not be, actually. But she's big. She's got the looks. She's got the brown hair. She could play I keep wanting to say Gal Gadot. She could play Gal Gadot. She could play Wonder Woman. Adrienne Palicki. Not for me. Anna de Armas, not for me. Naomi Scott, I liked her in Aladdin. I thought she was decent. She's a little slender though. She's a bit small. So perhaps not for me. We need to get another Aladdin movie. What's going on with that Aladdin sequel? We need to see more of Naomi Scott. She really was very good in Aladdin. Really, really good. Again, certainly got the looks, certainly got the age in her favour. She's 30. She could play for the next decade. Still a young lass. I don't know. Is she big enough? I think to be Wonder Woman, you have to be quite sizable. You're not going to be Wonder Woman and be 5'4". I think you have to be at least 5'8", 5'7", as a woman to play Wonder Woman. Connor Leslie? No. I like Lauren Cohen. I loved her in Dead by Daylight, Walking Dead. Fucking Dead by Daylight, obsessed. What am I like, eh? Loved her in that. Again, very good looking woman. She is tall. She's a good actor. She's got charisma. I think she's a little old now though. I'm going to search her up momentarily here and find out just how old she actually is. I think she's not going 40. She's 41 years of age. If you want to tell these stories in a connected universe over a 10-year period, I think 41's pushing it. 51-year-old Wonder Woman. Can't have a Wonder Woman with 10 a lady, I'm sorry. Not that you'll have that at 50. It's ageist. But I digress. Elizabeth Debicki, not for me, I'm sorry. Nope. Jodie Comer, not for me. Really, this is my number one choice. I'm going through the motions here until I get to Alexandra Daddario, if that's how you say her name. I actually don't know how old she is. I want to say she's slightly older than me, but not much in it. So she is quite young. She's 47. Fuck. She's getting a little bit, maybe pushing it with age. Certainly when you start taking into account production times and how long it's going to take to do the first movie, and then you've got a decade potentially after that, 50 again. They'd have to move quickly with Alexandra if that's to be a sort of potential casting. But she's certainly, as I say, has got the height, got the looks, got the acting ability, got the hair. I could see her playing Wonder Woman. Also, David Cornsvet, it seems to be confirmed he is playing Superman. He is the new Superman. I think it has been confirmed. I think they've got the Lois Lane, I think that's how you pronounce her name, and they've got the Kal-El. And it's this guy, and look, I can't argue with it. How can you argue with this guy playing Superman? How tall is this individual? He is 6'4". He's got the hairline, he's got the jawline, he's got the piercing eyes. He's a fine actor by all accounts. I can't argue with him playing Superman at all. How can you? This guy is fucking Superman. Put the cape on him just now. A fine choice, has to be said, if he is indeed playing him. 30 years of age, years and years and years to play the character left in him. I'm all aboard that train. Batman. Who could play Batman? Obviously, it's a tricky one because we have got Robert Pattinson playing Batman just now, and you've got a bit of a clash. Are the general public capable of differentiating between the Matt Reeves Batman and the DCU Batman? Well, we've had a lot of fucking Batmen in recent years. We've had Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck, and of course we've had Robert Pattinson. So it shouldn't be a problem. But then we did have people when Star Wars was a thing. Remember that when Disney took over, when they didn't fucking kill it in cinematic terms and turn it into a glorified TV show franchise. There was a thing when Rogue One came out where people were getting confused. They were asking, where is Kylo Ren? When it was clearly set in a different time period. So you always have to factor in the sheer stupidity of the general audience out there when you're making casting choices and choices for characters. But look, they're doing a Batman movie. It's been confirmed he is going to move forward with a Batman movie. I think it's Batman fucking... I can't remember the name of the movie. What is it? Batman, the Brave and the Bold. And I love the take on it. I love the sort of backdrop of the story, and I remember covering it when they announced this was going to be a thing. I have to say, Michael Fassbender, I mean, Batman's a different breed altogether, as I did kind of clarify. You can't have an older Batman. But I think that's maybe a little too old for Michael. He's 46. Pardon me, incidentally, I burped into the mic there. Deeply unprofessional. I think that's a little bit old. I think we're pushing it a little bit there. 46 years of age. I know it's coming out in a couple of years potentially, but you're looking at fucking mid-50s, man, when his tenure's done. I mean, if it's too old for Bond, it's too old for Batman, and I would say that's too old for Bond. I love Michael though. He's a fantastic actor, brilliant guy, but not for me. Henry Golding, I think, would be a fine choice for Batman. Fine choice. He's a young, vivacious guy. As you can see, they do say, show they can play the suave, handsome, rich man. And you've got to have that, as they do say, you've got to have that dark psychological innard to a Batman actor. You've got to produce that darkness within. It's a deeply troubled individual that takes to vigilantism and roaming the streets at night dressed as a fucking bat, taking down the crooks and the gangs and the villains of the city of Gotham, if you like. And you've got to be able to convey that as an actor. You've got to have this schizophrenic element to the character, almost a trifecta of personalities, where you've got the vigilante, you've got the philanthropist, sort of billionaire by day, and you've got the combining of the two of them, which is almost the true Bruce Wayne. He's not truly Bruce, he's not truly Batman, he's something in between. And the best Batman actors, Michael Keaton, I'd say Bale. You know, I don't think we've seen enough of Wayne under Ben Affleck, but those two certainly combined them brilliantly, and we got some special moments. I don't think we've seen enough of Robert Pattinson's Batman to include him in that list yet. It wasn't enough Bruce Wayne in the Batman. It was they called the Batman. It was the fucking Batman. So there wasn't enough Wayne in that. And the little Wayne we got was seen there was promise when he was sitting by Alfred's side. But you need to be able to convey that. I think Henry Golding can do it. Scott Eastwood, again, he's a little short to play Batman. I mean, Michael Keaton was shorter, I think, but he's a lot shorter than his father, that's for sure. But he's, again, really charismatic, cool geezer. I love Clint. And I love Scott as well. Looks like his father. I think he's maybe a little bit old now, though. Again, I think he's in his 40s now, I want to say. Fuck, his dad's in his 90s, so he's got to be up there. So again, you're pushing it a little bit. My God, that guy looks like Alistair Johnson that plays for Celtic in the background. That's scary. He looks almost AI created, doesn't he? The way his mouth and his eyes are looking there. Doesn't look real. I'm just looking for the 6-fingered hand or a limb coming out of his back to confirm that it is an AI creation. Looks fucking strange. But he does look like Alistair Johnson, who, to be fair, cool guy though he is a bit fucking strange looking. He's a bit Kermit the Frog looking at times. Brilliant guy though. Noah Reid, don't know enough about Noah, I'm not going to lie. Can't speak about him. Jamie Dornan's been getting flung about as potential Batman for time immemorial. Immemorium. I don't know what the word is. Says it now. Again, he's tall, he's youngish. He can wear a suit. Has he got that ability to convey that schizophrenic almost personality of Bruce Wayne? I don't know, man. Not for me, I'm sorry. I don't know who he is. I'm going to move on. I'd love John David Washington to be able to play a character like this. I really would. Is James Gunn going to be ballsy enough to actually cast a black Batman? Is there... I mean, it's not written in the comics that he has to be fucking white. I don't think it's part of the character's sort of raison d'etre that he has to be a white man. I think we can have a black Batman. I don't know if there's any precedent for having a black Batman in the comics. I know we've had a black Superman, and I'm still waiting in news for that, incidentally. I want to see Michael B. Jordan playing that character. But again, you speak about charisma, you speak about presence on the camera, about acting brilliance. You don't get any better than the son of Denzel. And I fucking love this guy. I think he's cracking geezer. So I would love to see him potentially up for the role, provided they can maybe give him stilts to make him a bit taller, because he's a bit short. John's a missed opportunity. John Hamm. If you had him 10 years ago, I would have been all for it, and in fact I was for it before the Matt Reeves movies obviously were confirmed to be starring Robert Pattinson, and that wasn't 10 years ago, I understand. But this guy's been getting floated about for years. He's a huge fan, I think, of the Batman. Got that darkness in an abundance. He's certainly got the height. He's got the ability, the charisma, the suaveness. I think he'd have been a fine choice, but sadly I think it's too old. It's too late for him, I should say now. Nicholas Holt's a funny one. I'm going to completely ignore Jensen Ackles. I just don't think he looks like Batman at all. He's not for me, I'm sorry. He's just not got the chin or the jaw for it. Not for me. Holt's an interesting one. I think he could play. I think he could definitely play Batman. Again, he's a tall individual. He's developed into a wondrous actor in the last decade or so. You could argue he's always been good. He was in About a Boy, of course, and he was very good in that. He's got the potential as an actor to be able to portray the sort of darkness within the character. I think he's a dark horse for me, Nicholas Hoult. I'm going to have a slightly mental shortlist. If it was me and I was in charge, I'd have Holt, I'd have Washington, I'd probably have Dornan, and I would fling in Henry Golding. That would be my shortlist. And then I'd make a choice from there. But I digress. I went off on a tangent here. It says it was going to be a short little dive down the rabbit hole. This is why I love a new era of characters, a new era of storytelling with a franchise like this, a cinematic universe like this, because you have so much scope to bring in fresh new blood, to produce brilliant new stories, brilliant new movies, and have them give them all, have that motivation, that energy to want to go out and prove themselves. Now, I'm not saying the likes of John David Washington, Henry Golding, fucking Nicholas Hoult, possess that. Alexandra Daddario possess that. These are people in their 30s. They're well on in their careers already. But it gives you a chance when you step away from the same mind, continually bringing the same actors back again and again when there's no real future for them. When you wipe that slate clean and you bring in an all-new cast with all new potential, that's where the brilliance lies. That's why I'm happy that there's no more Snyder stars coming back, that James Gunn is starting a new, and we've potentially got some exciting times ahead of us as DC fans. But look, it fucking sounds strange to say that, but I was going to say I've got the shield behind me, but I forget. I've got a fucking Batman poster behind me as well, so that just proves, look, see this tribalism? MCU is better than the DCEU. DC's better than the Marvel. It's all fucking box. Enjoy both. They're both different. They're both great. Enough of the tribalism. But I digress. I'm going to move on to the next topic. This one's great. I loved it. I read this and I was fucking loving every moment of the article, and I sincerely hope this is true. I really, really do hope this is true. And it got me thinking, just what is a bohemian dress sense? Because that is what has been levelled at poor Jason. He was coming onto the set, and look, I'll bring it up. We'll get into it. Bring it up just now. Come on. Jason Momoa allegedly arrived drunk on Aquaman 2 set dressed as Johnny Depp. Just going to let that marinate for a moment. That is fucking fantastic. Jason, that is absolutely fantastic, mate. That is top trolling from a guy that I've already said I respect enormously. Love him. Have done since he popped up and came into my awareness on the set of also Game of Thrones. He played the blank on his fucking name just now. Damn it. He played the Dothraki, is that what they were called? The Dothraki? Sort of the husband. They used and abused for Daenerys. That's when he first became I became aware of this guy, and since then the Guinness drinking fucking charisma and abundance, just incredible actor that is Jason, incredible human being that is Jason, has just continued to go from strength to strength in my mind. But this could be the zenith of Momoa for me, arriving on the set of Aquaman 2 dressed as Johnny Depp. Now there's been some debunking happening from his side. His team have says that he always dresses like that, and I'll get into that. Let's get into it right now. This is coming from where? I don't know. The notes of Amber Heard, no less, documents that were initially brought to the Heard Depp trial last year. They were confidential. I think Depp fans have paid the court fees to release these documents to the world. It was documents from Heard's therapist, and this is what she says. She said to her therapist this: I hope we're going to get them. I'm pretty sure we got the notes. Here we go. They seemingly reveal the hostile atmosphere on the set of Aquaman, the Aquaman sequel. Now, you have to remember that Jason was already accused of rubbing Amber up the wrong way in the set of Aquaman 1. Apparently, he was fed up with her aloofness, fed up with her attitude, passive aggressiveness, and he was going over and ripping pages out of her book. And of course, what's transpired, the whole allegations against Mr. Depp have been debunked, have been revealed to be a liar. This is fucking great. This is just music to my ears, man, to hear that he has continued this sort of journey into the sequel. And as you can see here, arriving on set drunk and dressed up like Depp, they say, Jason said he wanted me fired. Jason's drunk, late on set, dressing like Johnny, has all the rings too. Fucking love it. Oh my god, I'd love to see shots of that, man. I would love it. Like the Get Back documentary. Someone get a Flying the Wall documentary released on this immediately. I want to see it panning in on her face like The fucking Office. The moment that Jason walks onto that set, bohemian outfit, the shirt unbuttoned, 50 million fucking necklaces, a top hat, sort of Ray-Ban aviators, reeking of Dior Sauvage, rings in every finger, fucking drinking mega pints of red wine and just zooming into her face. This is what I want to fucking see. I love Johnny Depp, man. What a guy. And just the influence he's had in Momoa here. I hope this is true. I really do. I hope this is true. The therapy session notes state that Heard felt unsupported by director James Wan, with Heard saying she felt like a pariah, an outcast, due to the legal ongoings between herself and ex-husband Johnny Depp. He raised his voice at me. Did she really write an act? I can't even post about Aquaman. Made it like it was my fault. I said I'm sorry. The notes read, when discussing Wan, nobody could take selfies with me on set given blackouts. His reps have yet to respond, but apparently they did say Jason Momoa conducted himself in a professional manner at all times on the set of Aquaman and The Lost Kingdom. Jason works his ass off, likes to have a beer once in a while, like everyone, but doesn't show up to drunk to set. And he isn't dressing like Johnny Depp. He always dressed in that bohemian style. They went on to defend James Wan, saying James is known for treating members of his staff and crew with the utmost respect and for fostering a positive collaborative environment on set. The Aquaman films were no exception. Well, it's all alleged just now. It's from the memoirs, the therapist sort of notes of one Amber Heard. I mean, she's a bit of a fantasist, Amber, and she's renowned for throwing allegations out left, right and centre about people which ultimately get debunked in courts of law. So you take it with an enormous pinch of salt, just a small pinch of salt in actual fact, just of salt when the third Meister speaks. But that aside, I really do hope that it is true, that Jason did turn up full Johnny Depp cosplay, complete with Mega Pint, offering to spritz Dior Sauvage or maybe some Sauvage Elixir on everybody. And look, as someone who's right into the Sauvage and the Sauvage Elixir and is back to Bull Johnny to the hilt, you'll struggle to find a better fragrance. I mean, there's better fragrances out there. I'm a bit of a fragrance head myself, but people like to shit in Sauvage, but it's a fucking great fragrance. It smells fresh, it smells good. And if he's want to go out and spray it on everybody on that set, then I'm sure there wouldn't be too many my misgivings, if you like. But what a digress. I think that's going to be the end of the show part 2. I've been going for a solid 48 minutes plus the 20 prior, so we're nearly an hour and 20 minutes deep in this show. I was going to speak about Iger. He's exhausted and overwhelmed about box office flops at Disney, but as I did say, Mr. Iger has come in and he's trying to arrest the decline of Disney just now. But sadly, Disney, and I don't want to get into this whole identity politics fucking bollocks that all the right-wing bellends speak about on YouTube, but it certainly has an issue, man. It really is. It's a bit of an elephant in the room that you can't ignore, ultimately. That they haven't down that rabbit hole. They have pushed it on people, and people do not like things getting rammed down their throats, plain and simple. Whether you're sympathetic to the cause or unsympathetic to the cause, there is one common theme. The general man and woman on the street, gender binary, non-binary, on the street, whatever fucking terminology you want to use, usually don't like things getting rammed down their throat. Least of all when they're going for escapism reasons. They're going to the theatre to take in an experience and forget about the bollocks that's going on in the world outside. When you start bringing that into them, into the theatres and giving it to them, it becomes a fucking problem. It becomes a problem quick. And they've been doing this consistently for a long time, man. So it's no surprise to me that when the actual creative goodness, the sort of brilliance of the movies declines just a little bit. I'm not saying they're all shit. I did watch Guardians recently and really liked it, but that's James Gunn, I suppose. It's no surprise when the standard dips a little that you start making flops and losing money all over the place, because when you haven't got that to rely on, the consistent brilliance of filmmaking, and all that's left is a sort of polishing of turds with political fucking nonsense sprinkled on top, like a flake on an ice cream cone, then you really are in trouble. So he's got his work cut out for him, Bobby boy. I can't think of anybody better to do it. He really has to cut all the nonsense out from that studio and get back to making good solid films. and only tell a political tale if it's absolutely necessary. No one wants it. They want to see good films, first and foremost. But I digress. What's your thoughts on the topics I touched on? What do you make about Warner Brothers potentially merging, being bought out by Universal? Can it happen? Do Universal have the financial might to buy out Warner Brothers? Will it have implications for the DCU and James Gunn, Peter Safran? Will there be an upheaval again for this sort of blossoming DC universe? I think there will be. You see what I did there? That was fucking mental, wasn't it? I think there'll be a minor, if it was to happen. Just a minor. And then we'll go from strength to strength under the wise eyes of, the wise hands of James Gunn. But there will be upheaval. Share your thoughts down below about that though, in the comment section. What's your thoughts on none of these Snyderverse actors coming back to reprise their roles? We're going to get an all new cast, all new characters, all new films, an all new era of DC storytelling. I think that's a fucking great thing. What do you think? Share your thoughts down below. What's your thoughts on Jason Momoa allegedly turning up on the set of Aquaman 2 dressed as Johnny Depp in a bohemian style with Savage all over and rings and every fucking thing? What's your thoughts on it, man? Share your thoughts down below about Mr. Momoa doing his best cosplay of Depp, winding up Amber Turd. Anything you feel compelled to share can be put down below in the comment section. It's a place to put your thoughts. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyeballs. You can't like it. Follow notifications button over on Twitch as well to see us doing my thing over there. You can like and follow us on Spotify podcast. This will not be going on it, thank fuck, because it's an abomination. But rest assured, joint podcast shows with me and Stephen do pop up on there on audio form. So if you want to hear us over there, go over there and follow and like. All that's left to be said though is until the next time I am done, thank you to the comments, thank you to Top Cat, thank you to fucking Subam, if I'm reading that right, Subam. Thank you for saving the previous show and allowing me the chance to actually come in and create another show or stream that isn't muted. Some would argue that's an improvement when you listen to my Kermit the Frog voice with the nasaliness fucking ramped up to 1,000,000 because I've got, again, sinuses that just seem to be blocked every single day. I go to my bed every night with vapor rub, is that what you call it? Vicks on my fucking chest because I'm a granda. I'm an actual grandfather here. I feel like I'm 90. I'm only 34. Till the next time though, I'm done. Bye bye. Fucking shambles, man. Honestly, I muted it before I found the end screen. An absolute riot. Bye bye. It's the only way to end it.